CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest.
Hey everybody, welcome back to D&J's Epic Quest. I am Justin, and this is
Derek or Dren, and we have...
I never know if you want me to say my own name.
you can introduce yourself however you see fit.
HC in the house.
Sir.
It's me, Cloud9. I'm on Cloud9. I love this chapter.
It was a good one. I enjoyed it.
It was pretty intense.
I forgot how cool this chapter was. So I'm rereading and I'm just like, dang, this came out of my head? That's pretty cool. I'm like a fan of myself.
Yeah, it kept me spindering.
Kept you spindering.
Okay, Justin.
Seriously.
Crickets.
Oh no.
I fail as usual. All right, cool. Well, Derek, any update on Silverstone's books here?
Nope. Still just our one friend who has ordered books using our code anyways. And he did get them. He did post on Twitter that he got his books too. So
awesome. That's cool. Yeah.
As a reminder, that code is still out there. What is it? Epic Q?
No,
Epic God damn, I don't even remember.
Derek, it's
DJ Quest next. Oh, I'm not looking at the document yet. I'm looking at our faces. And just totally had a blank mind there. But yeah, if you still haven't looked at their website, definitely check it out. I mean, if you like fantasy books, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you have not checked them out. They've got an awfully good selection.
And it's growing
Check 'em out.
all the time. They always have new stuff in. I'm surprised by some of the stuff they have. They have really good stuff in there.
Yeah. What the heck does he have coming? Is the Sun Eater series? He's got that coming. I don't think that comes out till next month in paperbacks or something, or maybe that's just in the US. I'm not sure, but I know he's got a buddy read set up for that, which is kind of cool. But it's like a sci-fi series. The way it was described was like a space opera and epic fantasy. So if that's your thing, might be a good time to jump in and check that out.
That's pretty cool. They're doing a buddy read for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and I've seen the book around, like online, Twitter and whatever, and I checked out his post on it, and the book sounds kind of interesting. So I do know, I think he said that in his blog post that if you pre-order it, you'll get 10% off and double points. Mm-hmm. It's got a point system now for like every, I don't remember how it works, but you get points, money off, that type of thing. So check it out.
Heck yeah. On to our patrons. We've got Jan the Picker of Pies, Luciana Intriguin, Ryan the Topological, Damien the Rock of Faces, Nate, Fiddle Me This, Shield Anvil Dylan, and then Quartermaster, Master Sergeant, Lieutenant Parker. So thank you all guys for your contributions once again.
Thank you guys for everything. It is very much appreciated.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess should we get right into chapter 9 here? Chapter 9's title is Faith in the Unknown, and the epigraph is Demons born of darkness and rot plague the night. Feasting on the fears of the living, these creatures of strength, agility, power, and guile must never be underestimated, and above all else, they must be destroyed. The Art of Darkness, a tome of mythos and legends. Sunlight broke through the clouds and gave Leland a glimpse of warmth. Near and Lorky found themselves at a shallow stream. They filled their canteens while Lorky hilariously tried to catch their breakfast. Near laughed at his infernal struggle.
You have to pin it. Jab it like a spear.
What do you think I am? Made of sharp steel? They're fingers, Near, not knives.
He huffed and splashed water her way. She laughed as it drenched her clothes. Lorky got back to work, splashing himself as a fish swam through his clumsy hands. While Lork struggled on, Near took the time to admire the quiet world around her. In all its depictions and ghost stories, Leland was never described as beautiful. Near found herself in awe of the crumbled buildings and rolling hills throughout the vast landscape. Suddenly, Lorky's shout of pride brought her back from her thoughts. She turned to him as he struggled to hold the flailing fish. It wiggled itself free, and Lork slipped in his attempt to regain control of the fish. He cursed and said that he gave up. Near tells him that they should get moving and that they'll find something to snack on along the way. The sunlight soon slid behind a veil of mist, and the land was frigid once again. Wandering through the fog, Near spotted old, flooded graves and aged crypts standing tall on hillsides. Rain fell softly from the gray sky, strong winds and quick lightning, and thunder swept over the land. She grabbed his hand as he fell behind and told him to come on. Moving slowly through the storm, they approached the old cemetery and crypt. A wall surrounded the small cemetery of 20 or so tombstones. They stepped carefully through the graveyard and came upon a small crypt. She pushed hard against the door, but it would not budge. She asked Lork to give her her hand. She saw that he was staring at the cemetery with wide, terrified eyes. She followed his gaze, watching the ground ripple like a wave. The headstones toppled, and the stone walls cracked as the ground shifted and sank beneath them. A deep rumble shook the ground as mud and grass flung into the air. Near leaned aside to shield herself from the debris raining over them. Hisses and clicks overlapped from deep within the sinkholes forming across the cemetery. Near unsheathed her sword as Lorky stepped back. The clicking became louder as long spider legs emerged from each of the pits. Their bodies rose from the dark abysses, and their large fangs opened as they twitched and blinked their eyes. The nearest spider raced across the grass, leading the other spiders. Near raised her sword at the first spider, climbed the stairs, and then leapt at them. These were not ordinary spiders. These were Spindra, creatures of dark. She had read about them in her youth, but never thought they truly existed. Remembering her training, she spun aside and quickly swiped her blade through its sternum. The charging Spindra turned to ash. The second Spindra leapt at them from a pillar to her left. She impaled the creature, turning it to ash. Another Spindra leapt from the same pillar and clutched her face. Legs curled around her head, and its body pressed against her cheek. It lifted its two front legs and opened its fangs as Near pushed against its belly. She felt the pressure of its grasp lift as Lork stabbed the creature through its back. It fell back to the ground. Its wound bled with a dark mist as it raced back to the sinkhole from where it came. Lork asked if she was okay as he stumbled forward with a sudden scream. He fell to his knees as a Spindra clutched his back, its stinger deep in his skin. With a cry, Near plunged her sword into the Spindra's belly and kicked it away.
Lorik!
Near turned back to help and was forced aside by some green acid that was sprayed in her direction. A large Spindra leapt and stung her arm. Intense pain through her arm, and she released a raw scream. She clutched her wound, where the stinger left a bloody hole in her arm. The legs clicked as it moved closer, and Near swiped at its pincers with her sword. The Spindra moved aside and climbed the wall. Hovering above her, Nier blinked her vision into focus as she crawled back. The Spindra shifted, watching as she moved. Her mind grew weary as the poison did its work. The Lork laid on the ground like a rag doll. The Spindra reared back, ready to leap at her, when a figure of a man appeared between them. He struck his spear through the Spindra and it fell to ash. Entranced by her hero, Nier was unable to move, but had the time to admire his beautiful features and his hood. Her heart sank, and he slowly turned to Lork and then vanished. Startled by this, she jumped to her feet, brandishing her sword in her hands. The world spun as she moved too quickly. She made her way to a pillar. She focused on Lork as the man appeared beside the bard. Gripping her sword, she stepped to the stranger.
What are you doing?
The stranger was looking intently at Lork. His gaze never broke from her friend as he tucked her sword away and retrieved a vial of yellow liquid. As he was about to pour the elixir, she grabbed his wrist. The man turned to her, and she was able to see his long, pale face. He wasn't Nyx, nor was he from the forest. He was a race of elf that she had never seen before. She asked who he was and what this elixir was. The man was still as a stone. His eyes never strayed from hers. She asked if he was Eve in the native language. She told him to trust. He inhaled a long sigh and spoke in Evish that was too fast for her to understand. She begged him to save Lork. With a deep breath, he said that he would. Tears filled up in her eyes as she looked at Lork. She didn't know if she could trust a stranger who had appeared out of bumfuck nowhere. She knew without his help, though, that Lork wouldn't make it. Her magic could only do so much, but it wouldn't remove the poison. With a deep breath, she let go of the Eve's wrist, and he carefully dripped the potion onto Lork's back. The potion hissed as it seeped into his wounds.
Come on, Lork. You can't leave me here like this. Please.
The stranger tried speaking to her, but she was engrossed in the care of Lork. He spoke again, but this time more urgently. She broke away from the bard and turned her focus on the stranger. He reached for her arm, and she pulled it away. Glancing at Lork, who lay unmoving, she feared the potion might have put him to sleep. The stranger's voice caught her off guard as she heard him say, "Trust." She took a moment to consider his offer. She looked at her arm. The swollen injury had doubled in size and oozed with pus. Turning away in disgust, she gave the stranger her arm. He gently took her wrist and dripped the potion onto her arm. She winced as the elixir hissed and soaked her into her skin. The stranger pulled away and corked the vial. He motioned to the crypt door. He said to get inside, and she agreed. Stepping away from Lork, they walked to the entrance and pushed hard against the heavy door. Nier took a moment to rest as the Eve continued to get the door open. Nier joined him once again, and as the door slowly scraped against the stone flooring, she exhaled a relieved sigh. She shimmied into the cold and damp room. The stranger gathered Lork and followed her inside.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I have two things right off the bat here.
Ew.
Justin, the first one's for you.
Okay.
Did you mean to keep writing Lorky?
Not at all. I was wondering about that. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure
I was just-
Lork in there.
I was just curious. I wasn't sure.
HC, you got something to fess up here?
No.
That's okay. I'll just look at the edit history.
No, you don't have to do that.
Oh, did you go back and change it? That's a little evil.
No. You are saying Lorky at the beginning, though. You stop. You stop.
I think I threw it in there like a couple of times.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
You're
You have
welcome.
You have to appease me.
Oh, dang. All right. Sounds good. I'll keep saying Lorky then.
I almost said Lorky whenever it was Nier's turn in her dialogue. I had to stop myself. Like, whoops.
Yeah, it was definitely throwing me off a little bit. So it's all good.
All right. Well, sorry, Justin. I thought that was you.
No.
I didn't know there was some sabotaging going on.
Yeah, I don't know who would do that.
Not me.
Weird. I don't know who else has got access to this document.
It must be the Spindra. They're
Probably.
creatures of dark.
Probably that bitch Cloud.
Yeah.
Who?
Me. My name.
Oh, my second question, HC. The spiders came from the ground, so why did they go underground?
Why did they go underground?
Yeah, Lork and Nier and this man who's not named yet.
They went underground?
That's what I thought. Like they went into the crypt, down into the crypt. I thought they went underground.
Well, they went into like a mausoleum-y, crypty sort of thing. Maybe I don't know what a crypt is.
Well, whatever. I mean, whatever it was. I guess when I read it, I thought they went underground. I'm like, well, these things like came up from underneath the ground and they're like going down into the ground or in a basement or whatever. I'm like, well,
No, that's probably my fault. I feel like I don't know what a crypt is an underground room. They go into a mausoleum.
What part? Oh, I gotcha. Okay. In my mind, I thought mausoleum, like one of those like
yeah,
ground stone structures, you know. So I guess I didn't. I'm the whole time you're asking, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
but I think I did put the word crypt in there, didn't I?
I don't remember, I guess, but I mean, to me, I guess the word feels a little bit interchangeable, but for whatever reason, like reading it, I felt like they went inside and then they like went under the floor, went down some stairs or whatever.
No, I did say crypt, so that's my fault. Because like I thought they were kind of interchangeable, but they're
no,
not.
I do too.
Crypt is underground though, so you are right. But no, they're in a mausoleum, so they're above ground.
Gotcha. Okay, I wasn't like trying to pick things apart based on the words. It was just like
No, yeah, I mean,
what I interpreted things as.
Well,
yeah,
right.
I mean,
You know,
it's
certain
literally
words
what I
give
said.
off
Huh?
a different headcanon, so it's fair.
I do have a third thing here. Sorry to hijack your chapter here, Justin. I guess it's a little bit of a theory. So I don't. Maybe you can shoot this down really quick, HC. So we've seen Nier kill a bunch of stuff, different creatures, right? So the Dren turned to ash, the dogs turned to ash, the spiders turned to ash. She's killed all those things. Avelik, he killed dogs, right?
I think so. Maybe.
And then the man futurely known as Cloud, he killed some spiders, and they turned to ash. Lorik has not killed anything magical or creatures of dark, correct? He killed a guy with a pot, smashed his head in.
With a pot.
That's the only thing I can remember him killing, right?
It was a cauldron.
I don't.
Thanks, Justin. It's the same thing. Maybe it's bigger. I don't know.
I don't know if Lorik killed any of the spiders. I'm gonna say no.
I can't remember.
Did he save Nier?
Yeah, he wounded a Spundra.
You're right. Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
Justin. Because yes, he wounded one and it didn't turn to ash. So, and we know Cloud has magic, or we will know that in next chapter. And we know Avelik has magic swords. We know Nier is magic. I guess I don't remember if her sword is magic, but it seems like magic users or magically enchanted items, are they the only things that can kill creatures of the dark? Because I didn't think Lorik's dagger was enchanted or anything, and it didn't turn to ash. Or is it just because he just like gave it a little pokey poke and he didn't kill it?
That's a really good theory, actually. I don't know if I want to tell you.
Okay.
Just because you can kind of read and find out, because it's fun to have theories. But also, it's really not a theory that I ever expected anyone to have, so that might be your answer.
Okay.
Or is it just the magical items, magical people can only send creatures of dark to ash?
I mean, I'll just go ahead and answer no. Creatures of darkness, when they die, they turn to ash, no matter who kills them. So Cloric just did not kill it. Yeah, Clorox did not kill it. He sucks.
Okay.
He just disinfected it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just named it a little bit.
That's a really good something to notice, whatever you want to call that. It's cool that you picked up on that, because I didn't mean to do that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, that was a cool observation.
Yeah, observation. There you go. Yeah, look at y'all paying more attention than I do.
Well, I wasn't sure. The only thing I was confident on was that Lork just beat a guy to death basically. So
Yeah, I think that's all that he's done so far. And this one, Mir can't heal him, right? Like she says she can't heal him.
Correct. Yeah.
right.
Okay, I'm making sure I'm not getting my chapters mixed up. It's interesting because in the book that I'm writing now, someone is poisoned and they can't save them. Like they can't heal it. And I kept trying to come up with reasons like, well, I guess it's just this poison just can't be healed. But then I go back to book one and Nier's like, I can't heal poison. I'm like, from the beginning, like I just knew she just can't heal poison. So it's just funny how like things connect back all the way to book one that I'm following the rules of my world and don't even know that I'm following them.
I mean, that's
I
not a
suppose
bad
that's
thing.
kind of the hard part, I suppose, is trying to remember all those things and making sure you don't break your own rules, like you said.
I
But
have
I
a
suppose that's
whole-
why you have editors and people, advanced readers and whatever, hopefully so that they would catch something like that if you did do that.
Well, they do sometimes, but like the laws of the world, it's hard for readers to really keep up with, especially if I can't keep up with them. I do have this notebook though. That's pretty cool. And in it, I'll just show y'all real quick while we're talking about it, because why not? I have all the magic, but I have everything from book one, like all the notes and stuff. So like here I have all the magic is used, all the trees that are mentioned, where they're located, any potions that are used, their colors, what they do, why they use them, any objects that they find, like everything is written down. So I can make sure to
Wow.
keep it all, like even the color of the potions, I make sure is all the same. Because you can't have like a blue healing potion called this, but then suddenly it's orange in the next book. So like I try to keep everything the same.
Yeah, I know that in movies they pay somebody to like pay attention to the continuity, and that is their sole job is to be like, well, this doesn't match up from previous whatever. So it's a full-time job.
And I'm doing it all by myself. It's a lot. It's so much.
Is there any way that how do we obtain an ARC copy of your third book?
Just whenever I finish, I'll just send you one.
Oh, okay.
That'll work.
I'm okay. I don't need one. I'll just wait for the collector edition.
I mean, I can send you an ebook. I'm sending everybody that pre-orders the collectors, I'm sending them the ebook copy of it because they're going to get the collectors after it's published, like after publication. And I don't want them to have to wait, however long before they can read it. So if anybody like orders one, I offer them a free ebook of it so they can go ahead and get started reading.
Gotcha. It's pretty smart. No, I'll probably pick up the limited edition so as well. But
I
just
haven't started.
a reading copy. One that I can spindle and mutilate.
Yeah, I haven't started on. I wanted to get started on the collector's edition, like with the art and all that stuff, but I can't really do that until it's edited because the whole document's going to change. So I'll have to start on that, and it's definitely not going to be done before publication. So it really sucks, but it is what it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
it takes them a while to print it, and then they have to send it to me, and then I have to send it out. I usually have a good like 30 to 50 orders whenever I do the pre-orders. So that takes the printer a very long time to print that many books. So
All right. I guess one of the first things that I noticed was something that happened in one of the previous chapters, and Nier grabs Lork's hand as he fell behind and told him to like hurry up. But in the previous chapters, I thought that she wasn't going to help him if he fell behind.
There's a big old softy. Isn't that what Lord said? He's like, you look tough, but you're weak as a noodle.
Yeah, pretty much. Something.
That's really funny though. See, y'all are paying too much attention. Calling me out.
I mean, I can stop paying attention if you want. Okay.
So I thought that was really funny though. It's like last chapter, she's like, if you fall behind, I can't keep you, like, you have to keep up. And then falls behind, and she's like, keep up, come on.
Get over here. Yeah.
That's funny.
The other thing that I thought was cool was just the Spindra itself, and especially at the part where one of them curled around her head and its body pressed against her cheek. I don't know if you caught this, Derek, as an Alien fan, but it reminded me of a face hugger.
It I did not pick up on that, and I'm surprised because yeah, I love that stuff, and I did not make. I guess I don't know if that was an intentional connection, but I did not draw that conclusion myself.
What are they called?
Face huggers.
Face huggers.
You never seen the Alien movies with Sigourney Weaver?
I think I did, and it was a long time ago. Oh,
Yeah,
that's nasty.
I like that.
Oh no. Yeah, so the spindra, I mean, they're still pretty big because it's just the sternum, which is like the round part of its body where the legs connect. That's like what its sternum, its like underbelly is.
The thorax.
And it's like, the whole thing like presses against her face. So that part is as big as her face is.
Okay.
And then you have like the head of it or the eyes, and then you have the big giant butt, and then all of its legs have to like curl around. So I mean, those things are pretty huge. Maybe not as big as you thought they were, though, because you didn't make a comment about that. That's why I'm talking about it. And I'm randomly just talking about how big they are.
No, it's fine. It was really abstract because you don't have any size comparison when they're first coming out of the ground. So, I'm thinking like, Harry Potter big or like Lord of the Rings big. And then you read this part and you're like, okay, they're not as big as what you initially thought, but they're still big comparatively speaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Don't go ahead.
That's kind of why I wanted to do something like grabbing her face to kind of let the reader know, because it's really hard to explain how big something is, like a spider, when it's just like running to you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing to really. I didn't want to go into detail about its legs were as long as my arm while it's literally running at her about to kill her. That's not something she would be focused on. So
sure. But maybe like I mean, there's not really anything that we could do about it now, but just like they popped on the ground and the legs came out and they were about the size of a bush or something that could just be said really quick.
Yeah. No, yeah, I thought of that as I was saying it just now, to something super easy. But see, my thing is that I try to lead the reader through based on how Nier would be reacting like in the moment, if that makes sense. And in my head, I wouldn't be thinking those spiders are as big as bushes. So like that's why I didn't make a comparison right then. I kind of showed you when it attacked her, if that makes sense. But I don't know if that was really the right way to go, because then you think they're giant spiders and they're not. So
right.
Well,
it's kind of a toss up.
I thought they were too damn big. I mean, like if it's bigger than a tarantula, like that's too big of a spider.
Well, I didn't want to do spiders because they are kind of like cliche to the fantasy world, like everybody has giant spiders. But I'm writing these books for my husband, and he's the biggest arachnophobe I've ever met. And I have spent the last 14 years smushing spiders, and it's annoying. So I added the spiders for him just to kind of poke fun at him, I guess. And whenever I first wrote it, those were actually the baby spiders. And there was like a big mother spider that came out, and it was like, what is it? What is the spider's name from Lord of the Rings? It was like that
Shelob.
one. Yeah. It was like that one. And then my editor was like, "This fight's going on for way too long. You need to cut this back." I was like, so I had to cut her out. I kept the baby.
I mean, that's cool to know. I don't know. The one thing that I thought was really cool, and I know that it kind of balances on the edge of a phobia, but when the spiders are coming out of the ground, it reminded me of tryptophobia, which is a type of phobia characterized by the fear of holes. So, yeah. So, like, I just imagined. I know that there are some species of frogs where their babies are born out of their backs, and so like I could just imagine the ground kind of just like littered with holes and all these spiders are just kind of coming out of it. I mean, I know they only take down about 4 of them, but I would imagine that there was much more of them than what they turned to ash, so to speak. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Ugh, that just makes it even worse. Ugh.
Right. Yeah. It adds that layer of of like just grotesque, and I loved it.
Unintentional, but it works.
I'll take it.
I didn't know people were afraid of holes in the ground, but
It's
Just
called trypophobia. It's like
people are
like
afraid of
bumps,
everything. So
like clusters of bumps or clusters of holes. They just like make you go. Ooh.
like Felizen's face after she gets attacked by the blood flies.
Yeah.
Just look it up, Derek. You'll it's cool. It's cool looking.
I'm not looking that up.
Fellison's face. The people made artwork for that.
No, just tryptophobia.
Oh, so you're okay. So transplant that image onto Fellison's face.
Yes. But I'm sure it's not as severe, but
Oh, it looks like a honeycomb.
Oh, says it so casually. Oh, her face looks like a honeycomb.
Oh, these are. Oh, I was thinking like holes in the ground. Like, how the hell do people have this stuff on their? How does this happen?
Well, he was talking about the holes that the spiders came out of. Just like it's like I said, it's like a cluster of holes or a cluster of bumps or something that.
Yeah, but I
gives people,
Google like, and this is like,
yeah, like that. Except like if you had an aerial view of the ground as the spiders are coming up, that's kind of what I imagined in that particular part.
gotcha. Okay. I mean, I would if I saw my hand looking like that. I guess I'd freak out too. But if it was just like holes in the ground, I don't think it'd bother me.
well, it would bother some people.
Right.
Apparently, I
Why
mean,
it's a
I
fear.
guess yeah. People, there's something for everybody.
Right.
Oh yeah, so I put on here too on the notes that the Spindra, don't even ask me why, they were initially called vipers. And my husband, he was like, that sounds like a snake. I was like, oh yes, that does sound like a snake. So I had to change it. So I changed it to Spindra because spiders spin webs. So the name just kind of turned out from that. And then Ebert's name, which is Lorik's stage name, is how he's introduced in chapter 1. His name it was a filler name. So usually what authors do, if they can't decide on a name for something like a city or an object or whatever, they just kind of put in something and then, or they'll just put name in capital letters and keep going because you will spend hours just thinking of a name and you won't get anything done. So I thought of the word bard and then I just put an EB at the beginning of it. So it said Ebert and it just became his name because I was too lazy to think of anything else. So his name's just Bard with a little prefix at the front.
Hey, it works.
Yeah.
He goes by his stage name for the majority of the story so far, so you kind of get to know the character as Lorky.
Oh no, Lorik is his name. Ebert is his stage name.
Oh, gotcha. Then never mind.
I was like, no, Ebert is his bard name. Ebard.
Just ignore that then.
Oh well.
Yeah. The whole sword thing, I didn't catch that until your notes told me otherwise. Like, am I mean, I know that he's like vanishing and kind of hopping all around, and well, not all around, but he vanishes from her side to go next to Lorik, but I didn't catch the whole him taking her sword.
Yeah, so whenever I'm fangirling over myself when I reread this chapter because I forgot how cool his intro was. I think his intro is so cool. I had to go my buddy reads. I was like, somebody please talk to me about this because I just think this intro is so badass. I had to tag y'all in there too. I was like, somebody just like
And I was just like, I like Cloud.
I was like, you spoiler tags.
Why did I need spoiler tags for that?
Because some people don't want to know when characters are going to be introduced in the book.
Oh, overhead. Sorry, I didn't get it.
I spoiler tag literally everything. I even put character art with like non-spoilery introductions, and I still put spoiler tags because I don't know what people want to know. They don't want to know. But just like the wind and the rain, and just like he's just standing above her with a hood on and his spear, and then just disappears. And then Nia walks over to him, and she's like, "What are you doing?" She has her sword in her hand, and it just disappears. And without even breaking concentration, he's still focused on Lorik. He just lifts his hand, and her sword just appears in his hand, and he just sheaths it on his side. Doesn't even look up at her, doesn't break his concentration, doesn't stop doing what he's doing. It was just so smooth. I was just like, I love this guy.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
That was one of the coolest parts.
It makes sense, and I feel super bad that I missed it, but part of me was just like, I don't know what was going on there, but
Yeah, no, he's just sitting there and he lifts his hand and her sword disappears in his hand and he just puts it down and just keeps going. He doesn't even like pay attention to her. He's like, you're not about to attack me with that. Like, get away from me.
so why is this character not as I mean, he seems a little bit more open to humans than the previous Eve that we've met. One of those things where a product of his environment where maybe there wasn't so much bloodshed between his particular race and humans.
I mean, maybe people are dynamic, so not everybody's going to think the same thing. I mean, she's not racist towards the elves, but Lork is, and they're best friends. So you'll learn more about who this person is and why they are the way that they are. But I mean, yeah, I tried to make dynamic people because a lot of times in fiction or fantasy, you kind of have all the humans hate all the elves, so every elf is going to hate the humans. And it's like, well, why though? Because that's not how people are. Like some of them will and some of them won't. It all just depends. So he's a little more open to it. And also he kind of seems like he's, kind of far above these people. He just kind of is like, you humans are nothing to me. Like I can take you on. So sure, I will help you because you can't do anything to me. Like I'm way more powerful than you kind of thing. Like that confidence, I guess.
Gotcha. No, that makes so much sense. I appreciate the clarity because it just accentuates what I read. So, but honestly, those are the only things that I really had any comments on. It was another section where it was pretty fast paced, pretty action packed. We get introduced to this strange character, and Nier is maybe a little bit hesitant based on a previous interaction, which makes sense, right? Yeah, I guess that's all I had. I don't know if you two had anything else that you wanted to add, but
I did not. I kind of hijacked the beginning of this. Those were my thoughts there. So
it's all right.
You did make a comment, Justin, that you thought that this was the other Eve or elf that they encountered.
Oh yeah, I must have missed that. Whoops.
It kind of looks like it's on his notes down there because it's so funny.
Very well, it could be. Yeah, when I first read it, I thought it was the first Eve that they encountered, like just coincidentally being in the same area at the same time. So
yeah, and I mean that was sort of intentional because in the last chapter, Nier and Lork go into a cabin-y house thing, and they think, or I mean, it still could have been, but they think that fire was set by the elf that they met. So then, they meet an elf the next day. It could have been his fire. It could have been the other one. We don't know. But that's why his face is just kind of shadowed at first, and then it's revealed that this is a whole other person.
yeah.
So, they're definitely two different people. If people do not catch that, they look entirely different. The other elf he looks kind of human and he's got white hair. This one is very pale and he has black hair.
Gotcha.
And this one, he definitely looks like an elf. He's got a very, very long face and very pointed ears. The other one kind of could go between human or elf. She couldn't really tell.
I thought it was interesting that she still took the time to like admire his features. So.
I gotta explain what it looks like, okay? What else can I do that?
Oh.
I can't just walk up to him and you never know what he looks like, okay? At least she wasn't just like admiring him and his handsomeness like the other guy. You'll see why in the next chapter, I think. No, wait, is it the next chapter? I think maybe. What she thinks of how he looks.
I don't remember, I guess.
I don't know if she does. She does eventually. She has an internal monologue of what she thinks this guy looks like. And one other thing that I had is that I also liked how when she first went up to him, she asked him in his language if she can trust him, which is the same thing she did with the other elf guy. She's like, trust. Mm-hmm. And whenever he is trying to gain her trust and trying to tell her to use the potion and to go with him, he says the same word back. Like that's all that they say. I kind of liked that, how he was just kind of repeating back what she was doing to him to kind of show that that they both need to trust each other. I don't know. I kind of liked it. And that's like the only word that he said, I think.
Yeah, it was a good way to bring it back in.
Yeah, and to show that he was listening because he really wasn't seemed to be paying attention to her that whole time. Leave me alone, you silly woman. I'm busy.
Assessing the situation.
I'm saving this guy who clearly does not belong here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Derek.
Oh, Gil's back. All right. Chapter 10 here is called The Letter. HC, would you like to take your epigraph here?
Sure. Vasnimosina, enclave term of endearment.
Oh, you changed to Lorky in mine, too. All right. The elf carried Lorky inside and carefully set him on the floor. Near quickly closed and locked the door, then was immediately at his side, brushing his hair aside. In the dim light, she was able to see enough to examine his face.
You all right? You're going to be just fine, okay?
She was so focused on her friend, she didn't even notice the elf digging in his pack. He took out some flint and started a fire on the stone. Nier jumped back at the surprise of the flames, taking a close look and noticing that they burned without any tinder or wood. He took a vial of brown liquid and dripped it on the flames. Shimmering magic rose from the flames, creating a kind of barrier around them. The water that dripped from the ceiling followed the curves of the barrier to the ground. Nier was still perplexed as she touched the barrier, amazed that it could be formed with the use of alchemy, which was banned in her home of Laroth. She knew of its tricks and creations, but had never seen them in person. The smokeless fire quickly heated their little bubble, taking away the chill from their bones. The elf leaned against the magic barrier with his eyes closed.
Name?
Loud.
Nirana. Human?
Cloud was confused with her broken attempts of speaking in his language. After several failed attempts, Nier gave up, settling on one of the few words she knew. A simple thank you. He nodded in reply.
You... magic.
She didn't expect a truthful answer from him, but he told her yes. A smile drew across Nier's face, and questions popped into her mind, one after the other. To meet a natural-born magic user was extremely rare. She heard Loloric waking up. She crawled to his side.
Lorik?
Nier? Where are we?
Take it easy. We're in a crypt.
Fuck me, Ed.
You all right? Here.
She handed him a canteen of water, and he drank thirstily, water spilling out of his mouth and down his neck. When he finished the canteen, he chucked it to the side, his sleepy eyes looking around their surroundings. He saw the elf. What's an elf doing here?
He saved us. Gave you a potion that kept you alive.
Paleface saved us? I don't believe it.
Well, it's true. The other elf didn't harm us either. Seems they're not as bad as Orders has made them out to be.
You've always had a soft spot for them creatures. All right. Well, what's his name? I know you know it.
It's Cloud.
Cloud? Like the things in the sky?
That's what he said.
Elves and their stupid names. I know a little bit of his language if you want me to have a go at him.
You speak Elvish.
Well, of course. Every bard does. We gotta learn all the major languages and cultures. In fact, there was that one time that...
Maybe we should save the stories for another time, Lore.
He turned to the elf, attempting to communicate and speaking slowly. Cloud's eyebrows raised curiously, and Loric's stuttering turned to an awkward silence. Cloud looked at him with a stupefied look on his face. Unable to translate what Loric said, she asked what he had said. Loric said he had asked what he wanted with them, as there had to be a reason he saved them.
Maybe he just didn't want us to die.
Nope, that's not it. No one risks their own life for strangers, not for no reason anyhow.
Okay, but why was he so confused?
Loric shrugged.
Come on, Loric. He's a sorcerer. We have to figure out who he is before he leaves.
Loric looked the elf in the eyes, speaking confidently, and if Nier didn't know any better, she would have thought he was speaking fluently. But she knew better and could tell by Cloud's confused look that he had no idea what Loric was talking about. Loric said it had been years, and he was trying his best. Nier only told him that she was going to do it. She was going to talk to him. She stood next to him and placed 2 fingers on his forehead, ready to use her magic to communicate with him. He seemed confused, but didn't back away, but looked intrigued. She didn't get any further than that before Loric pulled her away. Are you mad? We just fought off the blades. If they sense you're using magic, they'll send more people after us.
We have to speak to him.
For what? What good it'll do if he's a sorcerer,
He could be the only other magic user alive, Lorik. We can't just let him slip away.
We can't risk our lives to find out. Look, just let me try again, yeah? You've got to start using your head, Neri, or we'll wind up dead. Nir huffed and crossed her arms. Lorik tried again to talk to Cloud. He pointed to the fire, and Cloud responded, though now Lorik was thoroughly confused. Nir turned away frustrated. Lorik handed her a vial with some clear liquid in it and told her it wasn't magic, it was alchemy. Nir argued back, saying no, and that Cloud had told her he's a magic user. Lorik thought she must have hit her head hard during the fight because Cloud told him he wasn't magic. They continued to argue. Nir put her fingers on Cloud's forehead again. She felt her magic rush through her. After a few nervous moments, she asked if Cloud could understand her. She laughed as she spoke his language perfectly. Puzzled and intrigued, he said yes. She introduced the two of them and asked why he had saved them and how he was able to teleport, and if he used fire to create the magic. Wait, she realized the error of her word vomit. She calmed herself and told Cloud she was also a sorceress. He seemed surprised, and she told him aside from using her magic to learn his language, she couldn't really prove it, but she was in Vleland because she is searching for Namashel, because she needs to pass the trials of. Lorik yelled at her to stop. He couldn't have understood anything but the word Namashel. He asked what she was saying, and wondered who he was. She told him that she had been talking too much and for him to get a word in. She told him that she had been talking too much for him to get a word in. He told her to let the man speak. Turning to the elf, Lorik said, "First leaf hits the crib." Everyone seemed to share a confused look. Nir asked what he was trying to say. Nir asked what he wanted and that he thought she could understand him. Nir told him to go get rest.
You're a sorceress,
Yes,
and you're human?
of course.
Peculiar.
What about you? I saw you teleporting around, and you grabbed my sword from yards away. You're a sorcerer too.
No, I am Eolin. Magic runs through my veins, but it isn't inherent.
I don't understand.
I was not born with magic, yet I possess its powers. My energy is limited to apportation and selective teleportation.
I'm not sure I understand.
His gaze shifted to Lorik as he ate an apple. As Lorik went to take a bite, he found only air as the apple was gone. Lorik's jaw was still not shut when he saw his snack in the hands of the elf. Cloud tossed it back to him.
I can apport loose objects directly into my grip, and my teleportation is limited to small, distal jumps. Why are you in Vleland? This is no place for your kind.
I could say this. I could ask the same of you. It's obvious you aren't Nyx.
I come from the forest, but am neither Cletel nor Ryle.
Those are the two largest forest clans, right?
It seems your knowledge of my kind far exceeds that of ordinary humans.
I was raised by an elf, Eve.
She didn't mean to use a derogatory term, and Nir felt ashamed that she had used it so easily. Growing up, she had gotten used to these terms, as others viewed anything else as too kind for the savages in the south. Even Ryman used the term to gain the trust of the locals, who used to think he was a savage and wicked.
You were raised in a forest?
No, Ryman left the forest about 75 years ago. He's been living in Laeroth, in a liberated hold known as Lynn.
You mentioned Namashel?
Yes.
Her eyes darted over to Lorik, though he said nothing.
To get to the Trials of Blood and gather energy from the caves of Namashel to lift a curse.
A curse?
You sound so confused. Like, what is that curse? Never heard of this tomfoolery before. Yes, I have a curse in my blood that tracks my magic. Anytime I use it, the High Priest can sense it and find me. He's been following me my entire life.
The trials are not to be taken lightly.
It's the only way. How do you know about the trials?
As it seems, I too am headed to Namashel. I have to dispel a curse that's killing someone I love.
The excitement within Nir evaporated. Lorik asked what he was saying, and she took a moment before she explained the situation. He didn't believe it. You can't believe this, do you, Nir? What are the odds that...
I have a letter.
He couldn't understand what Lorik was saying, and it was clear that Lorik didn't believe him. He took some rolled parchment from his bag and gave it to Near. She unrolled it and looked at the beautiful writing and read it aloud so Lorik could hear.
Cloud, the ingredients which you need shall be found throughout the forest and wetlands. I believe that the Nazir is to blame for my illness, as he seeks only to find power, and without my blood it will be easier for him to gain. I can't place the blame on him with indisputable certainty, but I know it was him. Please, Cloud, do not follow in his path. Take the trials of blood. It is the only hope of curing my ailments and setting me free. Do this, and we can put an end to his madness.
You want me to read the ingredients?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
You must collect 1 phythosin from the Maisha of Leland, 2 nimasar from the caves of Nindira, 4 ounces of spindra ash. Take these ingredients to the waters of Namashel, perform the sacred chant, and create a potion that will dispel the illness cast upon me. Mila Anum Cloud, thank you for all you've done for me. You will always be my light. Azael.
Do you want me? I gotta read the bottom part too. Reading further, she found a note near the bottom.
Find him, Cloud. Bring him home before it's too late.
She read it 4 times before giving it back to Cloud, who carefully rolled it back up and put it away. Lorik didn't even dare to break the silence. Near had hundreds of questions, but didn't dare ask. Eventually, Lorik asked her to explain the letter, and she did, though she did not feel good about it. It was as if she told a secret only she was meant to know. You don't think he just conjured that all up, do you? He is magic after all. Why would he need a letter anyhow? Couldn't that person just told him what was needed?
I don't think so. The words were too meaningful. His look is too... It felt more like a farewell than anything. I think it's real.
Could never tell with you magic users what's real and what isn't. Guess we'll find out in time. Ask if he's got any food. I'm starving. Near ignored the question about the food and focused on more important questions.
The trials. You going to go through them alone?
I have no other choice.
There's no one to help you. Other sorcerers or friends?
No, I'm the only one.
Do you have any of the ingredients mentioned in the letter?
His eyes went wide as panic set in. His spear appeared in his hand and shattered the barrier with the tip and disappeared. Cold air rushed in as Cloud went outside, though the flames of the fire never faltered. She sat silently as she looked at the door, waiting for him to return. He made his way back in, his muddy feet leaving a trail, and in his hand he had a vial of mud. He placed it into a pouch and collected the potion he used earlier to create the barrier. Near watched him as he dripped the potion over the alchemical flames, and another barrier was created. As if he forgot the others were in the barrier, he undressed and spread his armor and undergarments across the floor. Lorik looked the other way, and Near watched curiously. He had a number of scars across his back. He took something out of an inner pocket and dripped some elixir across his garments before he took out his flint and set them on fire. Near and Lorik both jumped back in surprise. What the hell? Is he mad? Deranged? Near watched on with fascination as the flames danced across everything, but nothing actually burned. As the fire died out, they could see his clothes were perfectly fine and dry. He got dressed and rolled up the parchment and handed her his woven bag, and she dug through it. It contained several dozen vials with different liquids, a jar of blue capsules, bandages, feathers, flints, and other knickknacks. She also found other things she didn't recognize, including the vial of mud.
Did you just collect this? Is this why you ran outside?
Yes, it is the vet ash of the Spindra that was just killed. I have everything needed to create the elixir to cure he.
Her. Sorry.
Her.
The Kira he. Like Kira he.
Come on, Justin. Context clues.
Write better, dude.
I know. Yeah. That one's definitely on me.
And it's sure to work. I've never known an elixir that can cure curses. Only the Arun can.
Near. The Arun was extremely rare, dangerous, and powerful. Telling a stranger they had one was not a good idea.
The Aruns are rare. Finding one would be next to impossible. and using it even more so. How do you plan to lift your curse?
She expected this, but it still froze her. He watched her intently.
I was told that the waters of Normichelle could give me the strength needed to overcome it. The scholars say the waters of the cave are extremely dangerous, but if ingested by a magic user, it can overcome any ailments that hinder them.
She bullshitted him and hoped he was buying what she was selling.
And you believe this? You're willing to sacrifice your life and the life of your friend for this rumor?
I have to.
I will leave for the trials in the morning. You may accompany me if you wish, but don't mistake my kindness for friendship. If at any moment you falter or fall, I won't hesitate to leave you behind.
Nice job. Justin, I really enjoyed the voice there.
Yeah, I liked it. Doing Azale's voice made me realize how hard doing those accents are.
Yeah, you're not throwing me any easy ones here. Bill and Cloud.
Scottish and like Scandinavian Viking-ish type. Those are not easy.
All right, and doing deep voices is not my forte.
Gil doesn't have a deep voice.
No, he doesn't, and I think I pulled that one better off than I did Cloud.
No, you did really good, Cloud. He did sound very confused for a second there. He's like, cuz Namashell.
Right, yeah. Because he doesn't believe the bullshit she's spitting.
He's saying it like I've never heard of these words before.
Yeah.
Where's my
It's kind of
dictionary?
like pitch it in a way that sounds like it was questioning, but it totally came off confused. But
It was good. I'm just
it was a dry run. This was my first time.
It was really good. I really enjoyed your Cloud voice. It was really good.
Thanks.
It was good. And that's a good point, Justin. Yeah, it's there's no rehearsing any of this stuff. We just go for it.
I had no idea I was about to.
We screw up.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. What were you saying?
I had no idea that I was going to read that note. So I'm like, oh, Lord, how do I do this? I have to think of Lagertha because that is the voice in my head. So, like a Scandinavian, like female voice, Lagertha from Vikings. I tried to sound like her, but then I just kept thinking of Skyrim NPCs. So it was all over the place in my head.
No, it was good too. I didn't think it sounded out of place or like corny or anything. It was good.
Oh, yay. I feel like I had like 7 different accents going on. So I was just like face twitching the whole time.
Well, hey, I didn't see it because I can't see you guys right now. So,
Oh.
but yeah, I guess you kind of did just get tossed that shortly before. So yeah, you didn't have any time to prepare. Honestly, I really didn't want to type all that out, so I just wrote read note page 93.
He just said read page 93. So I had to flip over to my manuscript and find where it was.
I mean, I was surprised at how fast you pulled that up. Usually,
I had already
go to the book. So,
well, I did have it open just in case, but no, it was good.
Yeah, I went ahead while he was reading like that really long paragraph that didn't have any dialogue, and I went over to the manuscript really quick, and I was trying to find it, but then I had to keep going back because I didn't know when it was going to be, like when my cue was. I still messed it up though. Oh well.
I didn't have a ton of notes, but just I guess rereading this back live, the little barrier thing I thought was cool. That they make, and this little magical chemical fire thing was cool. I don't know what's burning, but it's a nice trick to have.
Yeah, and I find it interesting too how different the cultures are between even the elves. Like, I mean, you guys mentioned that earlier between the first elf we met and then this one, how different their personalities are and how different they look. And I find it interesting just how the humans have outlawed alchemy, but this guy is just using it. And he's got all these potions, and it's just so natural. Like he's got like 4 or 5 potions that he uses just right here. Just I don't know. I kind of like that. It just adds a different.
He's a drug dealer, isn't he? That's what he is.
Maybe that's what he's doing way out here.
I was like, you need a potion? I got your potion, man.
That's really what he is, potion master. Yeah, this one is good. Skooma is good.
That's funny. I I was surprised we got a F-bomb in here because you kind of teased one before, so I didn't think we were actually going to get one, and then we did.
Did we?
So that wasn't me embellishing things. That was straight out of the text.
Did I say one? I'm sure I did because I don't hold back.
Yeah, I know you do.
That's the first F-bomb, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
Lork said, "Hello."
I think shit has been mentioned a few times.
But it's shite.
Or,
A little bit different. Not such a heavy blow. I didn't want to put too many because it was my first book, and I didn't really. It's kind of like testing the waters with what readers will and what they won't kind of accept from the author they don't know. And I know a lot of people, they don't like a heavy usage of vulgar terms like that. So the elves have a term called Kila that you'll see later on. And that's basically like fuck or something. But instead of saying that, so it's like I've never explained what it means, but you can tell from context it's kind of like something like that. But
curse word.
It's kind of a nicer way that it can get that like aggression out without actually like throwing that word in your face. And I got it from Mass Effect, from Keela Solai. I stole their word. And it means something very nice in that game, but for me it means fuck.
Sometimes you got to turn things on their head.
Yep.
I take it Lork doesn't actually speak this language very well.
I mean, obviously. Cloud's confused the whole time.
Right, but then there was a line where I think it was actually revealed what he was trying to say, like in terms that like we as a reader could understand. I can't find it right now, but something about
our sleeve hits the crib.
Yeah. That's kind of where I was just like, that's funny. So
yeah, like, I think it's funny how we can see it from Cloud's perspective, where he's like, Cloud's like, what are you saying? But then when we know what he's hearing, like just random nonsense spewing from this random guy's mouth, we're like, that's what he's saying. No wonder he's so confused. He's literally just spitting out random words.
Was that a phrase that you just made up, or is there like a meaning behind it?
No, I just made it up. I just tried to be as random as I could.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fair enough. Is there a particular reason why Cloud is so inviting at the end here?
Because the trials are extremely dangerous. Going alone is basically, can I say suicide? It's basically unaliving yourself. So he sees this person who also has magic. So he's like, all right, well, my chances have gone up a little bit if she comes. So that's what I'm taking from this scene.
Sure.
Is that he just doesn't want to do it by himself.
I guess myself, I don't feel very trusting of Cloud yet. He's got this letter, but it still seems a little sus to me. I don't know. And maybe it's not, but I've got that feeling that, I don't know. Like now he's got the stuff he needs, and now he just needs some water from there.
Well, I mean, that's what Nier's going for, is the water.
Not really, though.
Well, yeah, that's what she's going for.
Well, that's what she told him.
Yeah.
Nier's just going to do something with the Arun that I thought was already explained, but maybe it wasn't.
No, I mean, it's explained, but I guess I don't remember the water part.
Yeah, the waters of Namashel do have the power for her to open the Arun and dispel the mark.
Got it. So she just like transfixed the Arun with herself, essentially, in her bullshit to Cloud.
Yeah, she's basically, she's like, if I drink the water, she's not telling him I have the Arun that is enchanted and I'm going to dispel it so I can use the magic inside, because she doesn't know this guy and the Arun is really, really powerful. So if he knows that she has it, he might want to take it. And he doesn't seem like a guy you want to mess with. I wouldn't mess with him, so I wouldn't tell him either, even though she kind of did.
I get the sense that in this chapter, though, that Cloud is genuinely being genuine with these two, and Nier and Lork are not. So is there, I guess, is this potential setup for maybe a small debate around like who's actually being genuine or not in this relationship?
I guess I feel different than you, Justin. I feel like they're both kind of holding back a little bit, because if you're going to this place that's like uber dangerous, are you going to tell a stranger like your whole story? I mean, I wouldn't.
I mean, Cloud did.
It doesn't mean you have to take it as truth, whatever he said.
It felt way more genuine than. But maybe that's probably how it was set up by the author here. To a reader's perspective, it seems to be more genuine, whereas we know Nier and Lorik are bullshitting. Is it possible? Yeah, you're absolutely right. He could definitely have some hidden agendas there. I didn't see it, whether that was the intent or not.
Well, it's hidden.
Yes, Derek.
Cloud's just a very, very good liar. And Nier is not.
I'm not saying like his whole story's like bullshit, but there's either more to it that he's not telling them or something, what it seems, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because why is he alone? Like, why didn't nobody's going to help this guy? I don't know. That seemed weird.
Well, and it seems weird. Like, okay, like if this lady's dying, I guess. I mean, maybe it kind of makes sense, but like, you think you'd have her. It's not like he's going to have like a wagon he's just dragging around with this lady in it. But I mean, I don't know how far does he have to travel? He's got to go on this great quest, this epic quest to get all these ingredients, go through these dangerous trials, survive all that crap, and then bring her back in elixir before she's dead.
The only chance he got. So we know he had to get something from Nindira. And if people want to open their maps, this is Nindira. Somewhere in these forests. Here's
let me get my camera up. I could look in the book, but you got it.
So
yeah, mine's really pixelated, so
you can go to hcnewell.com/maps.
Gotcha.
Nice plug.
And there are 4 maps that you guys can look at there. But so yeah, they go to Nindira. So he is somewhere in here. We know that based on the letter that Azale wrote. Here is Valeland. So he goes from here all the way over here. And then we know that Valeland, or that the Trials of Blood, are along the border. So he has to come from the forest, go all over here, all the way, find the stuff, and then go along the border. That's where Namashell, the Trials of Blood, will be. So,
yeah, so it's not like it's a small distance, and it's like there's the southern part of a mountain range that he's got to contend with. So I guess, I don't know how you drag this lady with, but there's got to be an easier way. Well, he can teleport small distances. Why doesn't he just keep making small jumps? Bring her with. Well, I've discovered your secret.
I mean, maybe it is. Who knows?
Like small jumps. Like, are we talking like 2 feet? Are we talking 15 feet?
I'd say about 10 to 15 feet. I don't know if anyone's ever played The Witcher 3, but I took basically what Ciri can do when she's fighting. She teleports around when she fights. That is what Cloud can do.
Got it.
You do see that. I don't know if how much of it we see in this book, because I can't remember. I get my books mixed up. But there's one part where he's just like, tick, 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 tick. It's really freaking cool. Yeah, he's cool, but about 10, 15 feet, I'd say. And of course, all magic. Oh, sorry.
Nope, continue. I thought you were done.
So all magic is just an expression of energy. It will run out, so he can't just teleport forever. Like, he's eventually going to get weak. Just like if you're running for a long time, you're going to run out of energy. So he wouldn't be able to teleport like that anymore.
Makes sense.
Well, you take a nap. Eat a snack. Could have ate Lorik's apple.
That would have been hilarious.
So are you more or less siding with Derek's point of view as far as the hidden agenda thing?
If let's just say I'm a reader and not the author. If I was reading this and I didn't know anything, I would be siding with you. I feel like Cloud is being genuine. And I feel like, obviously, Nier and Lorik are hiding something. But I feel like he's being genuine because of the letter. And I feel like he's being genuine because of the thing that he said at the end, where he was like, you can come with me, but if you fall, I'm leaving you behind because you don't really matter to me. You're here to help, but I'm going to do what I have to do.
Right.
He was pretty straightforward, in my opinion.
Well, I mean,
but that's just like, to me, it seems like he's just going to use them. Like,
but he's not lying about it, though.
Yeah. If there's, if he gets attacked, they can be the cannon fodder,
Yeah, I mean, that's literally what he said. He was like, if you fall, I'm not waiting for you. I can't waste any time. I have to do what I have to do.
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens, but maybe I'm just less trusting.
No, he definitely is suspicious. Just how like suspicious he was of them too. I really appreciated how just in control he seemed, like of the whole situation. Like he wasn't bothered at all by Lorik and Nier. Like he walked in, he just laid his head back, he just closed his eyes. He didn't care at all that these strangers were here.
He took off his underwear. Yeah.
Yeah, he just got naked. He didn't care.
I mean, he made a locker room, I guess. It's a sauna. Steaming it up.
Yep. Dong and everything.
It's funny. I did that because I wanted to show the difference in just their cultures and just how, like, at least for him and wherever he's from, just being like that is just normal. Like being around, like being naked and whatever, it's just normal. So that's why he just kind of did it in front of these people because that's just kind of, it's just your body. Like, who cares? That's kind of the intention I had with it. It may not have come across, but yeah, he like was completely unbothered. He's like, I'm uncomfortable. I'm getting naked and I'm drying my clothes.
You know who else wasn't bothered? Nier.
Hey, but at least she wasn't commenting on the way he looked. Wait, did she? No, she just mentioned his scars, I think.
Which one?
What?
The one on his dong?
Maybe.
What? Okay, I think you made that up, Justin. But...
Oh yeah, there was one part whenever Nier, she's getting really excited. So whenever I write, I get into the story. And if I'm not really into it, my writing is so different. You can tell I can't ever force it. So whenever I write, like my whole body tenses, I start sweating, like I am like into it and it's just like a movie in my head and it's just coming out right. So it's funny because that scene where Nier gets really excited and she's like, "Did you use fire to create this magic?" That was a complete mistake on my part because I mixed up the words and like when I was typing it. So whenever I noticed it, I was like, and I erased it, but I was like, wait, that's kind of how she would react though if she's like getting all tongue tied because she's all excited. So I kept it in there. But I just thought that was kind of a fun little fact for you.
Little tidbit.
I like that you left it in because it's like it just makes it feel more like real instead of it being, it was, I wrote it the way I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just kind of how she. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just stumbling over my words, trying to figure out the ones I want to spit out. That's about it. I just like that it was an honest error that you worked in, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think I like that because, like I said, it's so naturally if she was in my head, she said, "Did you use magic to create this fire?" But for some reason, it just messed up when I was typing it. And I was like, I really like that though, because people make mistakes. So I didn't want to fix it because dialogue shouldn't be perfect. So it just really, I thought it really fit. I liked it.
Definitely.
I have a question about the Spindra ash. Now, is this, magical concoction that he's collecting, is it going to work that the ash is mixed with the mud?
Well, yeah, because they like fell into piles because they're big. So I guess he just like got some of it. I don't know. Yeah, it'll work. According to him.
Or do you mean, I guess I was kind of wondering the same thing, the fact that there's like water in there and it's just not, the pure ash, I guess, is like going to affect anything.
I mean, I guess just have to read and find out. According to what we know, and according to him who just got it and didn't seem bothered, it seems like it would probably be fine. But who knows?
But he's got a hidden agenda.
It's going to blow up in his face.
Maybe. You have to read and find out.
Yeah.
Oh, also,
so I was just gonna tell Justin I had the same thought. So it seems like the more we read together, it seems like on things we diverge. It was definitely true in Deadhouse Gates.
Yeah.
And a little bit here now in this chapter, we haven't had a ton we've like disagreed on, but minor things.
I don't even really think of it as disagreements, really. They're just 2 points of views that don't line.
But yeah, I agreed with you on that for sure. Sorry to interrupt you, HC.
Oh, I interrupted you. It's okay.
You're saying something about the name.
Oh, Cloud. My books started as a young adult novel. So this was actually like the cover, or I did not make this. I just got it offline. And then this is what I actually sent my artist to do my cover that I have now. But it started off as a young adult novel. And the young adult novel was called Fourth Wind. And in it, Cloud, so all the characters kind of sort of migrated through the series as it evolved into what it is. But Cloud's name has stayed the same, except before it was Claude, which is kind of how it's spelled, like Claude. But I don't like Claude. I really like the name Cloud. And I didn't want to spell it like Cloud. And I thought the elves will probably pronounce it like Cloud because of their accents. So when he says it, his name is Claude, but he pronounces it like Cloud. So his name's Cloud. That's all.
If you didn't have Lork saying like Cloud, like the thing in the sky, I would have thought Claude.
Yeah, and that's why I did that, because I was like, how can I don't want people to not pronounce the name right, and I know they're not going to go back and forth to the pronunciation guide. So I wanted to add something in the dialogue so that a character can say it, because it is kind of an odd name. So I figured Lork would be the perfect person to point that out.
It worked.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell, I really struggled at times to say the right name.
Oh my goodness. And I kept doing, okay, because I did a search and replace, which replaces just all the instances of the word. But it messed up and it put 3 L's in front of his name instead of 2. So he had 2 capital L's and then a lowercase L in front of Lorky. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, and I struggled with that.
I didn't mean to make it so hard, but I missed my dialogue because I was fighting with the search and replace. So then I just had to leave it because every time I wanted to go back to it, I had to read my dialogue again. So I had to stay.
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny because I thought you guys were going to try to mess with me, and I knew I had to read the note part. So I scrolled down so I could see if y'all were messing with the note that I was supposed to read in Azale's accent. And then it said, see page 93. So I was like, oh, okay, good. So that's how I knew to go to page 93.
No, I wasn't going to mess with that.
No,
I was thinking ahead.
Saboteur here.
I just love how Justin, he didn't even react. He was just like lurking and he just kept going. He's like, oh, I must have misspelled that. And he was like, oh, I must have misspelled it again.
No, I know that I intentionally put it in a couple of times.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So
it was messing me up too, though. I was like, oh God, I'm glad I don't have to read this name over again. So I'm ruining your show. I'm sorry.
No, you're
definitely. This is a lot more fun to do with you than it. I mean, I would have fun with Justin, just us doing this, but it's definitely a different. It's a game changer to have you on here for sure.
It's definitely a different energy for sure. Things that like we would have never in a million years picked up unless we've reread the series a million times. Yeah, I like having you on. And Derek does too. I wouldn't feel like you're ruining anything.
Because I definitely made y'all stutter through the whole thing.
Hey, I mean, you know what? It's your book, so
it's your show.
Yeah, that's fair, but it's your viewers. It's your readers that will eventually come to this, hopefully. And
hey, you guys have pulled a lot of your viewers over. So it's a mix.
That's true. But yeah, interesting chapter. I really enjoyed the dialogue. There was definitely some humor sprinkled in there that kind of, I guess, lifted the direness of, or the seriousness, so to speak, of the conversation between all of them. Yeah, it was good. It was a nice little reprieve from the previous chapter. So, and I guess, Derek, do you have any thoughts on what's going to happen next, or where do you think the next chapter will take us?
I don't know if the next chapter is going to bring us to Namichelle already, but I mean, obviously they're going to be on their way there. I don't know what they're going to run into along the way. Sure. Maybe they'll run across Avelic again and those magic draft swords. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get Gil back quite yet, but I bet by the end of the book we see him.
Maybe.
Before the end of the book, I should say.
Yeah, he's going to be in their welcome party, their welcome home party.
On my website where I have the maps, there's a map of Lynn, and it actually shows nearest path. So you can see like where the cave was, where the destroyed village with the elf with the swords was. You can see where the mausoleum is. So you can kind of like track sort of where she goes, what she's doing. Just so you can see. I don't know if y'all knew that. But also another thing that somebody asked me is why the elves are called Eve. And I did that because I wanted to make my fantasy sort of completely out of this world, if that makes any sense. Like I didn't want it to have any connections to Earth fantasy, stuff like that. So they're elves. I didn't really like using elf, like that word, because it's very typical, if that makes sense, you know?
Sure.
And it's just elves exist in all fantasy. So I thought to kind of separate that and really make it feel like its own world and be able to really immerse in it would be to give them their own name. Because even in this book, and it may have been a mistake, especially in book, I don't ever use the word Earth because Earth does not exist in their world, in their universe. So like they wouldn't say the ground, they wouldn't call the ground Earth, even though dirt is Earth, because that word would not exist to them. So stuff like that. So like halflings are called drellids, and then like big orcish big orcish people in the desert, they're called Vaxross, and the elves are called Eve. So just to kind of, like I said, just kind of separate it and make it feel like its own sort of thing, I thought might help make it more immersive a little bit and more dynamic.
Gotcha.
And that's why it's more fun to have you on, because otherwise we wouldn't get stuff like that.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of all the fun little things because I feel like this episode, I feel like has had a lot of really good discussion, and I've been inputting a lot of little tidbits around. And I kind of like doing that. I feel like I'm giving myself an interview.
Maybe you are.
I mean, hey, as long as it's entertaining, I'm trying to just, give little behind the scenes stuff that people don't usually hear, try to draw people in to listen. But also it's just fun. I think hopefully it makes it a little bit funner to know while you read just all this little extra behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. It's fascinating stuff. It's the things that I like in books. All these like really cool, like tiny little detail stuff. So I mean, we're privileged enough to get it right from your mouth and share it with your viewers. So it just enhances our experience as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
We're first time readers to this too. So I mean, we don't have any insight as to what's happening.
I feel like a first time reader. I've read this book like 800 million times, but it's been a while since I've read it, and never like I have to go through book 2 and The Banished and now book 3. So coming back to the first book and kind of seeing how I've done things and how things are coming together, it's really fun. It's like I'm reliving it again. So I'm having a good time too.
That's good. It's good that you're having that perspective. I feel like as artists, it sometimes is hard to appreciate where you started and refrain from over critiquing things that more or less you can't really do anything about at that point in time. So, it's just kind of, it is what it is. That's where I am. That's where I was. And just appreciate.
And I don't think the book is bad. It definitely has mistakes, but it is my first novel. So I think from once you read book 3, you'll definitely be able to, there's a huge difference. So at least there's progression. It's not staying the same or going backwards. So kind of helps me feel better if I go look at book 1 and I'm like, I know how to fix that. Like I would have written that so much better now, at least I can say that.
But then also look at like how excited you were just to reread chapter 9 though.
I was not this excited to reread it, but when I was reading it, I was like, I was just gonna try to skim so I could kind of know, but I got sucked so into this book. I was like, I can't. No wonder people like this. This is good.
Yeah.
I am damn proud of myself.
I am my number 1 fan.
Right. Well, I guess what do you guys say? Should we wrap her up?
Yeah, I didn't have any other more questions or comments or anything there, other than Justin, we're gonna have to kind of figure out our plan of attack going forward here. Saturday we talked to Steven Erickson, and then the following Saturday we'll record our first episode on Memories of Ice, and then after that, I guess, I don't know, we're gonna have to figure it out what we want to do, because we're about a third of the way through this book now, or will be after these next 2 chapters. So
about a quarter of the way through.
What time are y'all doing? A live thing, or is it a recorded thing with Steven?
It'll be recorded.
Yeah, it will not be live. Yeah.
What time are y'all doing it?
2 p.m.
Eastern?
Central.
Wait, no. I think I'm doing a YouTube live at 12 or 1 on Saturday. That's what I was asking. Maybe y'all can hop, I don't know if y'all want to hop onto it since y'all have that, but you can at least go into the chat and just hang out for a little bit.
What time?
think 12 or 1. I have to check. I think I said 2 p.m. Eastern, so it'd be 1. So it's like it would be kind of really close to when you guys are going to go on with him. But
Yeah, well, this is going to be different because I'll be visiting Justin. I'm going to go up and visit him. So we're going to record together, which we have not done before. And I'm also going to push a pie into his face.
2 of them.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
2 of them, yeah.
Well, if y'all wanted to hop on to the live, you are more than welcome. But if not, I understand. I would love to have y'all just like come and chat because it's gonna be the first one. I don't know how many people are gonna show up, so at least y'all two will come, so I won't look like a chump with nobody on my live talking to me. I have 0 viewers.
Just send us the link, and I don't know what time you plan on being up here, Derek, but yeah, just send us the link, and if we can make it, we'll make it.
You can make it.
Yeah, it definitely would be fun to. So thank you for the invite.
Of course. Yeah. But if it can't be this weekend, we can try another one or, whatever. I just think it'd be cool to have you guys on since we do this. It could be cool to kind of let people see how we interact and maybe they would be drawn to the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So
yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, sorry to put you on the spot while we were recording.
No,
it's fine.
It's fine. I'm sure this part in the cut version will end up being out because it's not really story related. We're just bantering at this point, but
okay.
Yeah, I guess we'll as far as
yeah, I feel honored that you would ask us to come on for your first one. So yeah, I think if I'm up by then, I think we could probably do that. I don't know what else we'd really have planned. So
I really need to let people know that it's happening and I haven't even said anything about it. So they probably won't have anybody show up. I haven't said anything at all. So we'll see.
Well, we can help spread the word.
I'm probably going to put something out tomorrow. So
sounds good.
We'll definitely share it. All right, guys.
As many browsers as I can to have as many views as I can. So look popular.
We'll help out if we can. I don't know how popular we are, but we'll help out.
2's better than 0.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to quit talking so we can get off here.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, HC, thank you again so much for joining us. Derek, I'll see you Saturday.
I'll see you Saturday.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Well, y'all take care. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
CNJ's Epic Quest. 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 CNJ's Epic Quest.